Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil al-azim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina wa nabiyyina Abul Qasim al-Mustafa Muhammad. Wa ala alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin. La siyama baqiyatullah fil aradin. عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره إن شاء الله. This topic of the condition of Ummah before the advent of Imam Mahdi عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف, and what challenges they will go through and what types of preparations they must have, is very important topic. And as far as time permits, I will try inshallah to make few points, and if you are interested, there are some lectures that can help. In particular, I had 12 lectures in London on the globe before and after the advent of Imam Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, which was based on a research which was done in Qom, and I tried to clarify what would be the condition before Imam comes, when it comes to the morality, spirituality, science, religion, and what would be the situation after he comes. Tonight, because we have only one session, I will make few points, and this would be an addition to these lectures, so I'm not going to repeat them, but if you want the whole thing, so you should also listen to those lectures. Before I start talking about Imam Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif and the condition of the world before he comes, I would like to mention a very important hadith. This hadith is mentioned in many sources and in different forms, but the main message is the same. For example, in Al-Kafi, the late Kulaini narrates this hadith from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. في حكمة آل داود على العاقل أن يكون عارفا بزمانه مقبلا على شأنه حافظا للسانه. One of the ideas that Allah taught Prophet Dawood as a gift of wisdom was this hadith, that a person who is intelligent, a person who is rational, should have these three qualities. One is that he knows his age. I mean by age, your era, your time, the condition of the world in which you live. You cannot be successful unless you know in what age you live. If you still have the mentality of a person who lived, for example, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, so you would not be successful. Or if you go too advanced and think of a future age which has not yet come, again you are not successful. You must be exactly thinking about the right condition of your time. The second thing is that muqbilan ala sha'nih. A wise person is the one who focuses on his own affairs, on his own life, on his own challenges. If I spend my time on something which is not useful for me or is irrelevant, then I am wasting my life. As a student, you have to focus on your study. If you go and do things which are not useful, you are not a rational student. As a mother, as a father, you have to be concerned with your children. If you're not concerned with your children and do lots of other good works, but you forget your children, you are not a good father or mother. Every person has certain responsibilities. Every person has certain aims and objectives, and he or she should focus on them. We don't have too much time to waste. This world is a world in which time is very limited. Although we save lots of time because of the advancement of technology, but on the other hand, we waste lots of time. So you see, we tend to be much busier than the people in the past. Why? Because there are so many distractions, so many things to occupy our time, that if you don't have management of time, you really would not be able to do anything. Sometimes, weeks pass by, you cannot make even a phone call to your father or mother. Sometimes weeks pass by, you don't even read few pages of any book. And you say, I am busy, I am busy. On the other hand, you say, what should I do for my leisure time? It's a paradox. We say we don't have time to do anything, then on the other hand, you see we have the worry that what should I do? I want to go to, I don't know, holidays, I want to watch movies, I want to play with the games. So this is a problem. So an intelligent person is the one who focuses on his own affairs. And finally, حافظاً للسانه. You cannot say everything. You cannot be too liberal in usage of the words. You have to be very careful. Not only you shouldn't tell any lies, not only you should not offend any person, even you should not say everything which is harmless. You only say the things which are useful. If you say, what I said was not a lie, okay. Who said that you have to say everything which is true? You have to understand what is needed to be said. So, an intelligent person must know his time, his age, his era, his world, must focus on his responsibilities, on his objectives, and must be in control of his communications, his interaction with other people. Now, we people who live in this age, in the time that our Imam is not apparently among us. I'm saying apparently because he's really among us. We just cannot identify him. We cannot ask him directly. Otherwise, he is living with us, as we have in hadith, that Imam comes to your markets, comes to your street, puts his feet on your carpet, but you don't know that this is Imam. It's not that Imam is invisible. Some people think Imam is invisible. Imam is not invisible. Imam is visible, he has physical life, but the only thing is that you cannot identify him. Like a person who is, for example, a secret policeman. He is visible. You can touch him, but you don't know that he's a policeman. Or an inspector who doesn't introduce himself. He's visible, but you cannot identify him. Imam is visible. It's not that Imam is not visible. Imam, for example, lives in another planet or in a basement or in a cave. He's visible, he visits us, he comes to our gatherings, he every year goes to Hajj, but he sees us and knows us. We see him and we don't know him. As we have in Hadith. يَرَى النَّاسِ وَيَعْرِفُهُمْ وَيَرَوْنَهُ وَلَا يَعْرِفُونَهُ. He sees us and knows us, recognizes us. We see him, but we don't recognize him. So, in this age, what are the things that we have to remember and we have to focus on? This is the question that we want to address tonight, inshallah. And This is something that every intelligent person, ينبغي على العاقل, every intelligent person should know. If we don't know this, it means that we are not intelligent enough. We are not rational enough. As far as we understand from our hadith and from human experience, is that before Imam comes, there would be several problems, several issues that would really trouble humanity. The main one, or perhaps you can say, this is something which would embrace all other things, is lack of justice. The world would be free from justice, empty from justice, filled only with injustice. As we have in many hadiths narrated by Sunni and Shia Muslims, يَمْلَأُ اللَّهُ بِهِ الْأَرْضَ قِسْطًا وَعَدْلًا بَعْدَمَا مُلِئَتْ ظُلْمًا وَجَوْرًا. So the earth would be filled with injustice, lack of equity, and then Imam would come and establish this. Indeed, what Imam does is the accomplishment of the mission of all the prophets. Because Allah says in the Quran, لَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا رُسُلَنَا بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ وَأَنزَلْنَا مَعَهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْمِيزَانَ لِيَقُومَ النَّاسُ بِالْقِسْطِ. All the prophets have come to establish justice, social justice, equity, but not establish it by themselves, not establish it miraculously. لِيَقُومَ النَّاسُ بِالْقِسْطِ. They have come to teach and help humanity so that they themselves establish justice. This is important. If people don't decide to establish justice, nothing will happen. Prophets have the responsibility of guiding us, not themselves sorting out the problems. It's not like what the people of the time of Prophet Musa told him, that you and your Lord go and fight and defeat enemies, and when you finish, invite us to enjoy. اذهب أنت وربك فقاتلا إنها هنا قاعدون. This mentality is wrong. In the same way, we shouldn't expect Imam Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif to come and fix the problems and says, now Shia, you come and enjoy. We give you free packages of holiday, you go any part of the world and enjoy yourself. Because we have established now justice and security, go and enjoy. This is not going to happen like this. If it was supposed to happen like this, why he needed to wait? He could have done this 1,000 years ago. You don't need to wait for miracle. If it is supposed to have everything sorted out through miracles, these miracles could have happened many centuries ago. What is important is لِيَقُومَ النَّاسُ بِالْقِسْطِ. People should rise up and establish social justice. So one of the challenges of this age is that there would be lack of justice. And in Islamic understanding, lack of justice does not appear only when someone treats another person without justice. The lack of justice can be between people or can be within the same person. I can be unjust to myself. You can do zulm even if you live in a cave and you are alone. You can do zulm. To whom? To yourself. In our age, you see how people waste their talents, how people they waste their time, how people waste their life by going after worldly pleasure and forgetting that there are greater sources of pleasure available to us if we follow the path of religion. This is zulm. You shouldn't only think about interpersonal injustice. There can be also personal injustice. So something that we have to really think about it, and sometimes, really make notes. What type of injustice is happening around me? Either I am involved in this injustice or I am watching this. If you want to prepare for the advent of Imam, you should try your best not to do any zulm, any oppression to any person, including yourself, your children, your family, your friends, your neighbors, and the humanity, animals, plants. Even we cannot do zulm to water. If you waste a cup of water, this is zulm. If you waste a tissue, this is zulm. If you waste a piece of paper, a sheet, this is also zulm. So we have to think about it. You cannot expect to be a helper of Imam who wants to stop injustice and you yourself do zulm. We cannot expect to be a community that would prepare everything for the advent of Imam, arrival of Imam, and this community operates based on zulm. This is not possible. Another issue which is very much connected to justice is dignity and honor. One of the things that Imam is very much trying to achieve is to give dignity and honor to people. Because the most important right of a person, which is in my understanding more than even the right for life, is the right for honor. If you keep a person alive, but in a cage, and throw food and water in front of him, so he is alive, but you are treating him like an animal, is this worth living? If you don't let people to decide for themselves, if you don't let people to flourish, if you dictate your ideas to the people, this is zulm. So when people are humiliated, when people are deprived from honor and dignity, this is worse than killing them. This is why Imam Hussein alayhi salam on the day of Ashura said that to die is better than remaining alive and being humiliated. Al-mawtu awla min rukub al-ari. I prefer to die but with honor than remaining alive and being humiliated. To live under the banner of Yazid is much worse than being buried and with honor and dignity. So, in the time before the advent of Imam, honor and dignity is something which would be either totally missing, masses of people would be humiliated, or at least the believers would be humiliated. And Imam would give this honor and dignity to the believers. In Dua Iftatah, when we reach towards the end of Dua, we say, Allahumma inna narghabu ilayka fi dawlatin karima. Oh Allah, we express to you our eagerness, our yearning for a government which is honorable, a government which has honor and gives honor to its citizens, a government that from top to the bottom everyone is treated with honor and dignity. تعز بها الإسلام وأهله وَتُذِلُّ بِهَا النِّفَاقَ وَأَحْلَهُ. What do you understand from this? If you do tadabbur, reflection, you understand that before Imam comes, before that honorable government is established, the people who have faith would not have complete izzah. And this is why you say we want that government to give izzah, to give dignity and honor to Islam and those who believe in Islam. It means that there would be lots of attempts to take away the dignity of Islam and Muslims. So you see why certain things happen today. This is all foreseen. This is all predicted. They don't want the people who have faith in God, the people who believe in religion, especially in divine religions, to have honor. Part of the problem is for us, but in general they have problem with all people of faith. They have problem with us, they have problem with Christianity, they have problem with any religion. But the main focus is on Islam, because they think that the main opposition to their humiliating acts for humanity comes from Islam. So that government is the government which is going to give dignity and honor to Islam and the people who believe in Islam. On the other hand, those who are hypocrites, they would lose their honor. It is interesting. It doesn't say وَتُذِلُّ بِهَا الْكُفْرِ. It says تُذِلُّ بِهَا النِّفَاقِ. We don't have any problem in this issue with kufr. Our problem is with those who are not honest. Before Imam comes, the main problem is with the people who are hypocrites, the people who are not honest, the people who say, for example, either say we are Muslim and they are doing bad things, or they say we are interested in human rights, in human dignity, human honor, freedom, but they are not honest. Honesty is something which would be very rare in the time of occultation. And this is why when Imam comes to give dignity and honor to good people, automatically this causes the dishonest people to lose their honor and dignity. Because people would know them, would know that what they say is not an honest statement. And then, وَتَجْعَلُنَا فِيهَا مِنَ الطُّعَاةِ إِلَى طَاعَتِكَ وَالْقَادَةِ إِلَى سَبِيلِكَ وَتَرْزُقُنَا بِهَا كَرَامَةَ الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. We request you to include us among the people who call towards you. This is very beautiful. We talked yesterday about calling towards Allah. وَمَنْ أَحْسَنَ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ. We ask Allah to include us among the people who would have active role in inviting others towards obedience for God, and leaders towards your path. وَالْقَادَةِ إِلَى سَبِيلِكَ. You should not be satisfied with just being a good Muslim. Sometimes we say, I just want to be a good Muslim. I just want to go to heaven. This is not enough. You should aim at being best of Muslims. You should aim at being a leader for the pious people. Not leader in the worldly sense, leader in the sense that you are the best of the pious. This is why we say, وَجْعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. This is much more than saying, وَجْعَلْنِي مِنَ الْمُتَّقِينَ. Sometimes I say, please make me one of the pious people. But sometimes we say, please make me a leader, a role model for the pious people. Every one of you should aim at being a role model for the pious people. If you aim at this, then inshallah either you achieve this, or at least you end up with being a pious person. But if you aim at being just a pious person, then there is a chance that you never become pious. Like a person who says, I want to get A. If he aims at getting A, he may get A or at least B. But if you aim at just passing the exam, then you may get E or F. If you aim at being in the highest levels of heaven, inshallah, either you go there or at least you will be in heaven. But if you say, I just want to be next to the door of heaven where they put the shoes, then there is a chance that you will never get access to heaven. So we say, وَالْقَادَةِ إِلَىٰ سَبِيلِكَ. We want to be among the leaders toward your path. I don't want just to be an ordinary person. I am very humble, but I want to flourish. I want excellence. I want perfection. وَتَرْزُقُنَا بِهَا كَرَامَةَ الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. We want the honor, the respect in dunya and respect in the hereafter. So justice would be something which would not be very common, but we have to work hard, and inshallah it will be finally achieved. Honor would be something that would have lots of threats, lots of attacks against honor and dignity. But we must work towards establishing this honor for ourselves and for other people. Another thing which is very important is that in the time of the occultation, there would be lots of confusions, lots of doubts, lots of perplexity and confusion. There would be hayra. People are confused. People don't know whom to follow, whom to listen, what to accept. There are so many suggestions, so many ideas, so many isms, so many schools of thought. They are confused. This is what you already see. Sometimes you really wonder how people can find the truth. There are tens of thousands of books. There are hundreds of schools of thought. Every person says something. Poor people are misguided. You see, there are so many types of new religions, so many types of spirituality, and everyone has some attraction. Everyone has attracted some people. You find collection of religions and different types of spirituality and isms. If you just go to some of the gatherings of religions, you find this. People are confused. Even if you come to followers of the same religion, if you go to, for example, Christianity, they say only God knows how many Protestant churches are there. No one knows how many Protestant churches are there. If you come to Islam, you see there are different, we are not that diverse, but still you see there are different understandings of Islam. So much so that even some Muslims, unfortunately, kill their brothers and sisters. They explode themselves in order to kill some Shia. Isn't this confusion? Many of them may not be necessarily having bad intention, but they are confused. They think they are doing something good. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, these are the people who are in greatest loss. قُلْ هَلْ أُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا. Shall I inform you who are the greatest in loss? Who loses more than anyone else? الَّذِينَ ضَلَّ سَعْيُهُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَهُمْ يَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ يُحْسِنُونَ صُنْعًا. The people whose efforts are misguided, are confused, and they think they are doing something good. They make efforts, they go through lots of sacrifices, they even may give life, which is very valuable, and they expect Allah to reward them. Then on the day of judgment, Allah is going to question them and going to punish them. Who is in greater loss than these people? And we have ourselves also to be careful. Sometimes we also may be suffering from the same problem. Sometimes we followers of Ahlul Bayt do something and we think this is a service to the school of Ahlul Bayt, but we are indeed causing harm and damage to the image of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. You have to be careful. There is a beautiful hadith from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. In which he says, it is not enough to to accept what we say. ليس من احتمال أمرنا القبول والتصديق فقط. It's not enough to be a Shia if you just accept what we say. So maybe you say, so what else? Imam says, it is also a matter of protection and hiding some of the things that we tell you from the people who are not supposed to know these things. Kitman, some of the things must be hidden. Some of the things are our own secrets, our own personal issues. You cannot tell everything that you have in family between you and your wife or husband and children to other people. It's not a matter of because, for example, we are fearful or, for example, we are doing something bad. No, certain issues are personal, are family issues, are domestic issues. You don't need to make it public knowledge. Unfortunately, there are people that these days they think that now because we have access to internet, we can have satellite channels, we should tell everything without hesitation to everyone. They translate everything and expose it to all over the world. And it causes so much misunderstanding, so much damage, that no enemy can do such damage. Indeed, they give excuse to the people who want to attack us. So look at them, this is what they say. And if you say, we are not like them, we don't accept what they say, we condemn them, they say, no, you are doing taqiyya. What they do is the right thing. You are hiding. So this gives them justification to attack Shia, to kill Shia, to accuse Shia. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, you must tell them, حدثوهم بما يعرفون واستروا عنهم ما ينكرون. Tell people what they appreciate, what they can understand and appreciate, and hide from them what they find it unacceptable. If we believe in, for example, 10 statements, 5 of them every human being can understand and appreciate. 5 of them are for us because it has some prerequisites. They haven't understood those things, so they don't understand, they don't appreciate. So only tell those things that everyone appreciates. حدثوهم بما يعرفون واستروا عنهم ما ينكرون. And then Imam alayhi salam says, فإذا عرفتم من امرئ إذاعة أمر. When you hear, when you realize that someone is disclosing those things which are not supposed to be disclosed, go to him and ask him to keep silent. If he listens to you, alhamdulillah. If he doesn't listen to you, فَتَحَمَّلُوا عَلَيْهِ بِمَنْ يُثَقِّلُ عَلَيْهِ. Find someone who can put pressure on him, someone that has some power over him. For example, speak to his wife, because he has to listen to his wife, so that he stops this. And then Imam alayhi salam says, it's very painful. He says, whenever you have a request, you find a way to achieve what you want. If you want to, for example, get a loan, or I don't know, if you want to find a job, for example, a spouse, you struggle, you speak to this, speak to that person, find someone to intercede. Imam says, please, for my request, do the same thing. Please don't be lazy. If you see someone is damaging our image, find some way to ask him to stop. And then he says, if you do all these things and he doesn't accept, so try to bury what he says under your feet. Don't go everywhere and says, they say this. Try to maintain it. Don't yourself to condemn them, express it more. So this is very important issue. People are confused. People, they think they are doing good things, but they are harming. We have to be very careful. This is a time which is a golden time, golden opportunity for us. Alhamdulillah, there are ears who are ready to listen. There are people who are interested in knowing more about the school of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. There are people who are fed up with other sources of knowledge and faith. If we act wisely, rationally, then there is a chance that we will win their hearts. Imam Raza alayhi salam says, لو علم الناس محاسن كلامنا لاتبعونا. If people know our beautiful words, our beautiful sayings, they would follow us. So why there are some people who don't follow Ahlul Bayt today? Because we have not let them know those beautiful teachings of Ahlul Bayt. This is the implication of the hadith. Imam says if people know, they would accept. So why they don't accept? Because we have been guilty. We have not introduced the beautiful teachings of Ahlul Bayt. We have only been busy with ourselves, just enjoying ourselves, enjoying our own majalis, our own azadari, everything, we enjoy it. What have we done to introduce Imam Hussein to the people of the world? Why Imam Hussein alayhi salam still is less known than many actors, many football players? Isn't this our guilt? You cannot say we don't have resources. We have resources. We have talents. We have skills. And we have had enough time. 14 centuries. Isn't this enough? Still, how many people know Imam Hussein alayhi salam? This is our guilt. So in this age of confusion, ignorance, being perplexed, we have great responsibility. If we act wisely, rationally, if we follow our ulama instead of following the people who have no knowledge but they have good voice, then we can make progress. Sometimes I ask brothers and sisters, I say, please think about the way Imam Sadiq alayhi salam managed to teach thousands of people, most of whom were Sunni. You know that in Medina for many years Imam Sadiq alayhi salam used to teach. Abu Hanifa attended 2 years the lectures of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. Says, لولا السنتان لحلك النعمان. If it was not because of those 2 years, I didn't know anything. I was destroyed. Many leaders of our Sunni brothers were students of Imam Sadiq or students of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. Now my question is, for the sake of God, think, what method Imam Sadiq was adopting in teaching? How was he talking to these people? If every day he was starting his lecture with sending la'an, or say, today is, for example, day of Ashura, today is the demise of my mother, and then start saying things that some zakers say, or some satellite channels say, would these people go again to his lecture? How did he manage to keep them in his circle for days and weeks and months and years? without offending them, and at the same time without compromising, without being liberal, without being pluralist. And interestingly, we owe our identity to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. Who established a school of Ahlul Bayt? Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. He was the one who is established, completed. We are Ja'fari. Why? Because we are in debt to his teachings. If our Imam was not wise in his teaching, in his preaching, they would have killed him right away. Or at least they would have boycotted him. We have to learn from our Imam. Those people who are zealots, those people who exaggerate, those people whose tongue has no control, they don't do any service to the school of Ahlul Bayt. They only damage. They only bring shame. Those who are wise, those who know how to speak, how to communicate, how to attract, these are the people that are useful. Let me stop here because I think I have spoken enough. I hope that inshallah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps us to be prepared for serving our Imam before and after he comes. I am 100% sure the only people who can serve Imam after he comes are the people who start serving him before he comes. You cannot say, when Imam comes, he will change me. If you are not ready, you would stand against him. If you are not humble, if you are not wise, if you are not in control of your emotions, if you follow just the customs or what the majority say or what the rich people say or what the pressure forces you to, you would not be able to stand with Imam. Only those who have understanding, those who have rationality, those who are wise, those who are patient, those who are from bottom of their heart humble in front of Imam and truth, these are the people who can serve Imam. Those who establish justice and give honor to themselves and others, these are the people who can serve Imam. We should get lesson from history. You know that there were many people waiting for Messiah to come. When Messiah came, when Jesus the Christ came, these people, some of them believed, but many of them stood against him. They were treating him much worse than what the Romans who were pagans treated him. And finally, that led to crucifixion, or as we say, to the ascension of Jesus. When our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam came, there was a great expectation that the people of the book would be the first to help, to believe. Why? Because first of all, they share a lot. Secondly, they were expecting him. Why they went to Medina? Why they went to Yathrib? Because they knew through their sources that the prophet of end of time would be there. So they went all the way from Palestine and other places, settled there, waiting for him to come. But when he came, many of them didn't believe. Some of them even stood against him. So you shouldn't think that everyone who is waiting for someone, when that person comes, he would welcome him. Because it's a matter of selfishness and self-interest. Those who were waiting for Jesus, they expected that when Jesus comes, immediately gives them support and respect, and just says, what do you want? I'm going to give you. They didn't expect Jesus to come and blame them. They didn't expect Jesus to come and say, what you do, you take interest from people. You have made temple a place of business. They didn't expect these things. So we have to be very careful. We are waiting for Imam, but you don't expect Imam to come and say whatever you are doing is correct. I am giving you certificate. No. You must be so humble that if Imam says what you have been doing for ages is wrong, you would accept. Otherwise, you would stand against him. Many people would be surprised. They would say, what you say is not Islam. What you say is not what we have been used to here. What you say is not compatible with the way that we have been running our centers and our gatherings. Inshallah, Shia would be saved. I'm not saying that necessarily it's going to happen, but I'm saying we have to be alert. If you say automatically because we are waiting for him, we are going to help him, this is not the case. This needs purification. This needs a constant struggle to correct ourselves, to be critical of ourselves. Inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this community and all our worldwide community, inshallah, always ready and prepared to serve Imam al-Zaman before and after he comes. May Allah make his advent as soon as possible. May Allah make his advent as quick and as easy as possible. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make our Imam al-Zaman happy and pleased with whatever we say and whatever we do. May Allah answer his du'as for us and for all humanity. May Allah bring peace and security and justice and prosperity for all humanity under the guidance of Imam. May Allah give healing and shafa to all the brothers and sisters who are ill. May Allah forgive all those who have passed away, especially marhumin of the brothers and sisters who are here. Those who have rights upon us, our teachers, our parents, our foreparents, our maraja, may Allah elevate their position and let them be with Muhammad and Ali Muhammad. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep our youths always on the right path. May Allah inshallah save us and our community from anything which is bad and dislike and displeasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillah rabbil alameen.